Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Avengers Annual number 7 and Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 2. So in these two annuals we're going to get a story arc where we have Thanos going up against the Avengers. And we get a couple of high profile deaths that are going to really stick for a long time. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, so without further ado, let's get into this. Now, I must say that the edition that I have of this story, it's translated in Spanish because I live in Argentina, and there's moments where I think there's issues in the translation itself. There's moments where the dialogues and the narrations just don't make any sense. This happens every once in a while when you purchase comic books outside of the United States and they're translated. Especially if they do like a literal translation from English directly to Spanish. Also, the story leans in quite a bit that this is a progression of everything that was going down in the Warlock series. The story literally starts with Warlock finding Gamora. She's barely clinging to life. Her master, who is Thanos, has betrayed her and basically seemingly has beaten her to death. But before passing, she warns Warlock that Thanos has this terrible plan to basically obliterate all of the universe. And what Warlock decides to do to save her is he absorbs her soul into his soul gem. That sounded redundant, sorry, but Warlock had a infinity gem embedded in his forehead, which was the soul gem. It had its own world within it, and it was a big part of the Warlock series. So this will set things in motion for Warlock to try to hunt down Thanos and have their final confrontation. At the same time, at the Avengers Mansion, we have Captain Marvel and Moondragon arriving to warn the Avengers of Thanos' plans. Moondragon, through her telepathy, and Captain Marvel, through his cosmic conscience, know that Thanos is up to no good. And basically what the Mad Titan had been doing is he's destroying stars, making them go nova, wiping out galactic civilizations, and he's on his way to Earth. But this all seems to be like a trial test that he's really going to destroy all the stars across the universe at once. So through tons of exposition, we get the backstory to what had happened to Thanos up to this moment. We have his first confrontation against the Avengers, and then the climactic battle that he had with Captain Marvel when he destroyed the Cosmic Cube with a karate chop. And what happened after that is that the Mad Titan had discovered the existence of the Infinity Gems, which I think the story calls them the Soul Gems. Like, that's one of the translation issues that I have with this edition. Also, all the exposition dump that we get here is that Warlock had crashed the party at the Avengers Mansion. He wants to join forces with Earth's mightiest heroes and Captain Marvel. I also forgot to mention that in this exposition dump, Warlock explains to the Avengers that he had forged an alliance with Thanos, and that both characters had joined forces to travel to the future to stop a future version of Warlock called the Vegas. And that after that whole situation, what happened is when they returned to the present day, Thanos had created this gigantic soul gem. And he's using this artifact to basically destroy all these stars. And we circle back to the beginning of the story where Gamora tried to stop Thanos and she ended up being killed. Now, while all this is going down, Pip the Troll had arrived on Thanos' ship. He was looking for Warlock. We're going to discover later in the story that Thanos had left Pip the Troll brain dead, just standing there with his mind totally wiped. So what happens is we have Thanos' forces arriving on Earth, or within Earth's orbit. We have the Avengers going into outer space, battling all these ships. We get a really awesome battle between the Avengers and Thanos' forces. I have to say that the art by Joe Rubinstein, I think it is, he does a fantastic job. There's a moment where we get a complete page that is just a battle, and it's a masterpiece. So while this battle is raging on, Warlock finds Pip the Troll. He's brain dead, as I mentioned earlier. He's devastated Pip was like his only friend. Well, I forgot to mention Gamora too. So the thing is that we get the final confrontation between Warlock, Captain Marvel, against Thanos, and we get a pretty interesting situation that I didn't see coming. The Mad Titan just one punches Warlock. He kills him on the spot. Iron Man is able to destroy his soul gem, the soul gem that Thanos had, the big one. So thankfully the solar system is saved for now, but the thing is that Thanos is able to not only defeat the Avengers, he captures all of them. Now, before we dive into the Marvel 2-in-1 annual, on the final pages of this Avengers annual, what happens is we actually get to see another Adam Warlock approach the dying one. It's a time-displaced Adam Warlock. Like, I don't know what's the deal with this. And he has the Soul Gem too, and he absorbs Warlock into the Soul World. So in a weird way, he has a happy ending because even though he died, he's in the Soul World, which is like a paradise. And the interesting thing is that Adam Warlock, Gamora, and Pip the Troll are going to stay dead all the way up to the Infinity Gauntlet crossover more than 10 years later. So now we jump into the Marvel 2-in-1 annual where Master Order and Lord Chaos start freaking out over the fact that even though the Avengers were able to stop Thanos in destroying the universe, they have been captured and that their champion has been killed, which would be Warlock. So they call on two new champions. So they have the incredible idea of throwing into the mix Spider-Man and the Thing. So what happens is the Thing takes one of the Fantastic Four space vehicles with Spidey. They go up to Thanos' ship. They battle against Thanos' forces. It's super cool to see that a lot of the throwaway minions that we got in the first annual pop up in this one too. And what ends up happening is Spider-Man, out of sheer luck, he liberates the Avengers. He doesn't get killed by Thanos. Master Order actually forces Adam Warlock briefly out of the Soul World and turns Thanos into stone. It's actually a pretty epic moment, and he's not going to resurface for a real long time too. Thanos' return way down the line in the pages of Silver Surfer is going to be freaking awesome. And it's going to be the whole setup to the Infinity Gauntlet crossover. But we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.